Click on subscribe, click on the bell icon to get notifications from India's smartest channel, TRS Clips. What is the future of the Indian Army looking like? Like in terms of how are we prepping for the 2020s and 30s? Is artificial intelligence going to be a part of it? Are there more advanced pieces of warfare that are like kind of finding its way into the Indian Army? And secondly, why should a young kid join the Indian Army today?
So let me answer these two questions separately. So of course, you probably would be aware, though you may not have thought of it consciously, that every technology that you use today originated from war. So whether it's laser, internet that you're using and all of that stuff, artificial intelligence, you name it, drones, drones, everything has originated from war. And there's a reason for that. Jet engines, rockets. When a nation is fighting for its existence, it's obviously going to put its best resources to try and solve that problem. Matter of fact, the number of technological innovations that happened in the Second World War, in terms of the amount that was done in that 4 years, would probably never ever have been achieved thereafter, because that compelling reason wasn't there to build a rocket right now, to find better metallurgy, to do this, to do that, all of those things. So pretty much every technology that you see has had its origins, and probably it's the government and the armed forces which actually play with it first, right? Having said that, we, by the nature of our terrain, are a very manpower intensive army. Has to be, because we've got very long and very disparate different borders. So we have jungles, we have mountains, we have deserts, we have amphibian role, we have all sorts of island locations that have to be protected, all of these. And that basically makes the army very, very manpower oriented, infantry largely oriented. Having said that, technology is coming in all of these areas. Things like artificial intelligence and all of that have a role to play in certain niche areas of the army, which is much more to do with intelligence and big data and logistics also. By the way, logistics is a very, very interesting area in the army where artificial intelligence is immensely valuable.
Logistics of everything.
In the end of the day, wars are fought on logistics alone.
मतलब यहाँ खाना कैसे पहुँचेगा, weapons कैसे?
Now I'll give you an example. Let's say that you have a garrison in Bikaner, right? Now, let's say it's an armored division. So there are tanks and there are light tanks and artillery pieces, this, that, vehicles, hundreds and hundreds of vehicles. Now, if you have to just design the logistic chain for them, now the vehicles are not of the same vintage. They have not run the same number of kilometers. So किसी का fan belt change करना है, किसी का sprocket change करना है, किसी का ये. Each vehicle has a record, which you know that its maintenance has to be done, this has to be done, that has to be done. The troops who are posted over there, they might prefer more of wheat. Jat troops will have rations which are oriented towards grain and the rice and this and that. They're managing this entire complexity where every vehicle has got its own individual idiosyncrasies. It's not like 40 tanks are bought and given to the platoon together. No? It's not like all 40 tanks will run the same number of kilometers. It's not like you're maintaining a fleet. You are maintaining a fleet, but each vehicle in that fleet is a completely different individual, and therefore the logistic chain has to cater for that, right? So it's a very, very complex, logistics is one of the most complex exercises in the forces, all forces of the world. And as they say that, you know, the generals fight on strategy, but the field marshals fight on logistics, because logistics is what enables army to win or lose. I mean, we have seen that in the Second World War, the German, Eastern Front collapsed because of logistics, not because the troops were not brave or they could not fight and all this. Basically because the tanks did not have diesel to run. So without petrol, without fuel, it will not move forward. If your ammunition train does not reach you, you cannot fight. Food does not arrive, you will not be able to sustain troops there. So logistics is the bedrock of...
something you never think of as a civilian.
You never think of that. How do you think this ammunition arrives all the way up to Siachen?
Your vision of the army is, okay, fighters, brave, intelligent, but it's mainly physical, and there's so many layers of organization.
Of course, so that's true in every organization. You see a movie, you see the hero doing that prancing around and all of that. You know the value chain behind to make that happen, starting from the makeup artist to this, that. There are so many other layers which a normal civilian does not see. They don't see. They only see the final product. So that is part one.